Alright everybody, how's it going? Just getting set up live right now for you. Swift Community Live. Getting everything all squared away here to get ready to start running. Start off here. Usually when I do the runs, I try to start you guys off with showing you how to get the run set up here. So, hi Zach, how you doing over there on Mixer? I do have the Mixer, Twitch, and Facebook page up, so I should be able to see chat. You can see here on the main page of Zwift here, you can switch between ride and run at the top of the screen. We're going to do a run today. And click OK. And we are going to run on the Classic course. Since we're running, and we can do a little avatar swapping here, we're gonna look the part today. Got our nice headband going, and get everything squared away. So I think we are ready to get started. So we're going to click run and get you guys a little bit of tunes going here. Should have a little bit of background music. And we're going to get the treadmill fired up here and get started. Let's see how the treadmill works out. I just lubed my treadmill today for the first time in a long time. It's way overdue. So I'm going to start out with a pretty calm warm-up at about... walk here for just a second and get one more thing set up for you guys. Kind of nice here the way I've got this set up. I can reach the mouse and do a little bit of things while I move. So we're going to get your camera swap set up here quick before I get running. The should be able to see chat everywhere. I'm looking here right. So all the chat should be pretty open for me. And feel free to fire off questions. We're going to run between probably a 10-minute mile and a 9.5-minute mile. Not too hard. Had a big day yesterday on the bike, so we're going to go a little easy today. The mic up here where you can see it. And let's get started. So we're going to start at 5.8 to warm up. Drag the noise gate down a little bit so you guys can get my voice through nice and clear. Everything looks good though. Zach and Johan are my normal guys. Talk to them a lot. Thanks for joining me, guys. Oh, looks like my mic's floating around open a little bit, huh? Drag that up just a little bit. We're going to kick on one more fan. Alright. Should have a good sound profile built now. I don't have matching socks, unfortunately. I did get the nice matching headband going now, though. That's all for you guys. It's funny, most of my shirts that I've got to run in actually match available Zwift shirts. Got a little bit of some new setup in my pain cave going on. I finally mounted the TV mount in front of me that pivots between the bike and the treadmill, so I have a little better visibility in the wall. I think I'm gonna have to drag Facebook down here. Eyes aren't that good anymore. So let's try this. Adam's planning his first run tomorrow. Kirsten, thanks for the encouragement there. A little new to the setup, trying to figure out what I can see and what I can't see, so moving a few of the chat windows around a little bit. I am able to see Twitch and Mixer and Facebook, so I can chat on any of those. So if anybody's got running questions, hit me up. I can give you feedback on the running setup. We're gonna go run loops around the Classique course today. We're gonna try to run 10 miles. We'll see if I make it. I can tell you I'm not excited about running 10 miles today, and it may not be the best plan. I rode 126 miles outside yesterday on the bike, so just a tad fatigued. Bumping the noise gate up just a little bit more for you guys. So I got a question over at Mixer. How much is the whole setup? Well, the big expense, honestly, for the running setup is going to be your treadmill. I would say your treadmill, or if you have to get a computer or an iOS device, those are going to be your main outliers in cost. But if you're, let's say, going to a gym and running on the treadmill, then you can get something like an iPad, an iPod, or an iPhone, and Bluetooth heart rate strap, Bluetooth running foot pod, and you would be good to go. So, heart rate strap. Actually, you don't even need the heart rate strap, just the foot pod. You can get a Bluetooth foot pod for about $30. So, you know, super cheap setup to go running. Your subscription to Zwift, which is $10 a month. Your $25 or $30 milestone foot pod. And go to your gym and run if you already have an iOS device. Obviously, if you don't have an iOS device, you've got a little bit of a cost outlier there. So that's a big cost there. Or at Eurobike this week, just this last weekend, I believe, they had some Androids out on display with Zwift on them. So I would expect Android compatibility with the software very soon. I don't know the exact time frame, but I'm confident it'll be very soon. Bumping it up to 6-minute miles. So now if you want to get into PCs, you have to have a PC that's fairly new. Last few years. You can invest in really good video cards like I've got here, or you could go pretty bare bones. If you get into the cycling side of it, you're going to need a bike and some device trainer of some sort to ride the bike. So really the sky's the limit on cost. Mine's all set up at home with pretty high-end equipment. So I've got a significant amount of money in mine, but it's not necessary to get the exact same experience as far as the game goes. So Chris Fulcher over at Facebook says, I've got a treadmill and I'm on Zwift on the bike. What do I need to do to connect the treadmill to my Zwift? Chris, the way I'm broadcasting my speed into the game for running is with a Garmin FootPod. So if you're using Zwift on the PC, most people are using ANT+, which is what I'm using here right now. So a normal ANT+ running FootPod will read directly in the game. So on your pairing screen in the game, there's a little slider that you can switch from ride to run and start a run. And then you pair devices just like you would when you're riding the bike. So if you want to use Bluetooth, it's similar requirements. If you get a Bluetooth FootPod, you're going to need to use either, I believe, a Mac, the Zwift companion app on the iOS device, or the Zwift iOS directly. If you want to use ANT+, you're going to have to use it on a Mac or a PC with an ANT+ dongle. So I use both, and both work well. So I don't think there's necessarily a preference of one or the other, or that one's better than the other. I'd say if you're primarily ANT+ on the bike today, go that route. If you're primarily Bluetooth, probably go that route. I'm using a Garmin FootPod, and it works well. I currently have on a Viva heart rate strap, which my heart rate strap actually is also an ANT+ to Bluetooth bridge. So with this heart rate strap, it'll actually transfer my Garmin FootPod data over to Bluetooth if I want to do it directly. So Chris is using iOS iPhone 7 broadcast the TV screen with Apple TV. So you're going to probably want a Bluetooth FootPod, Chris. Cheapest ones out there, a lot of people are using are the Milestone ones. Top of the line, best thing out there is the Stride. There's a small number of special sensors in certain high-end treadmills that will broadcast the speed for you out of the treadmill, but those are pretty rare and not necessary to get started. If your treadmill doesn't already have that capability, FootPod works fine and it's very simple. So, I've got some questions over here at Mixer. Hello over there at Mixer. Should you start out for your first time? I'm not sure I understand the question, game guy, but if it's your first time running on Zwift, if you're new to running in general, I'd say take it easy. Running's pretty hard on the body. So start out slow and ramp it up. General training rule of thumb, especially with running, is to don't increase your intensity or your volume more than 10% per week. From that perspective. Trying to get my sound worked out here a little bit, guys. Okay, we'll try that. No problem, Chris. I'm glad you're able to understand me, huffing and puffing here. Another thing for you guys, if you're interested in it, I've actually been doing some walking on Zwift too. I got a little bit into the step counting with my triathlon club. So now when I'm walking on the treadmill, I'll throw up Zwift just for the heck of it. And it still works really well. When I slow down to like a 3-mile-an-hour pace, my avatar adjusts appropriately. Like I said, if you already have a device that will run the game, whether it be something with iOS, a Mac, a PC, soon to be an Android, just getting the FootPod is relatively budget friendly. And the monthly subscription for Zwift, if you're going to use it for running and cycling, is really low compared to a lot of other training tools out there. What did I heard Shane Miller say the other day, and I was like, that's one way to, I never thought of it that way. They were talking about the potential price increase of a couple dollars. And it's like, you figure when you're training, a gel is $1. So for 10 gels a month, for me for a half a box of gels, I'm getting this awesome app. It seems pretty budget friendly to me, considering the amount of money I spend on things like nutrition to work out. So Chris comments over here at Facebook, he is an injured runner at this current point, and that's why he started using Zwift. It's a good tool for training, it is for sure. Keeps you sane until he gets back out on the roads, but interested in trying to run, as I find the treadmill very boring, but is a must in bad weather. And that's exactly it, Chris. It's actually been one of the things I've talked about a lot on my long runs when I run here in ZCL, is for the serious runners out there, not even the guys that are cycling, just the runners. A lot of people do those spring marathons, those spring events, which are very common because of the opportunity usually to get good weather in the spring to compete for those long distances. But it requires you to train over the winter. And I mean, I'm in the Midwest in the United States. We always have snow. We always have nasty weather. And when it's my weekend to run a 15-miler, if you want to stay on your marathon plan, you got to run it. So I think that's where Zwift comes in and fills a niche there, where a 15-miler, just staring at a movie or something like that, it gets really old really quick. So I think Zwift offers an awesome product for this. I mean, the only thing I've seen similar to this for running is like a high-end treadmill at a hotel or maybe at a fitness center that has, some sort of preloaded video map or something that you run on. But it's not interactive. It's not other people. As this grows, you would have to expect that it's going to grow into something similar to what we're doing for cycling as well. And I apologize, guys. I didn't put the ZCL top banner on for you. There we go. Dagger over at Mixer asks, what is the game? This is Zwift. SWIFT. Check it out on Facebook. It's pretty cool. Super Mesh says, how long? Assuming how long am I going to run? I'm targeting 10 miles. My legs are really shot today, so we may end up doing it right here at this 10-minute mile. But that's my target for today. Yeah, Swedish House, we are running. We're showing you guys what running on Zwift is like. Pretty simple to get set up. Pretty simple to do. I have basically equipment that I didn't buy anything extra personally. I didn't buy anything personally to get on Zwift running. I was already a triathlete. I already had a foot pod. I already had a heart rate strap. I already had all the equipment to run Zwift for my cycling. So I was good to go. Let's just flip a switch and go to running and let's go. Wallstrom, I had not seen that yet, so yeah, definitely we'll be thinking about those folks. Just a reminder that cycling in real life is dangerous. Johan is commenting that there's some information coming out about, sounds like a horse jumped out in a race. It would have been in the UK somewhere. That potentially one of my Team X teammates may have been involved, so hope all is well there. Gotta give a shout out to one of my local racers, a lady who has a similar story to me, has used cycling to really gain a lot of fitness, lost a lot of weight, has gotten up to be a competitive Cat 3 racer. She went down at the Gateway Cup in St. Louis this weekend, and sounds like she's got some things she's gonna have to battle back from. I don't know the details, but I do know there was a concussion and some other bumps and bruises, potentially some broken bones. So it is it just makes me want to stay indoors, but I enjoy riding outdoors too. I went and crushed a 126-mile ride yesterday on the road bike with a strong buddy of mine. So that was a lot of fun. Said I usually don't ride that distance hard. It's one of the first times I'd really put my head down and rode that distance hard. So we threw down a pretty awesome time, pretty awesome pace, and I absolutely exploded about mile 100. So I guess I paced it right because my goal was a 100-mile ride, and we pushed to 126. So awesome, man. Thanks. I appreciate all the banter over there at Mixer. I am keeping an eye on Facebook as well. I've got Twitch up, but things are quiet over there. So Chris is sharing, and I didn't know this, Chris. Chris is from the UK, I believe. Yeah, he said that already over at Facebook. I'm actually running up the final few miles of the London Marathon course now. About 3 miles to the finish line, so that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. So, if you guys got running questions, hit me up. I did have, and it kind of flaked out on me right before we started. I did have set up where I could give you a little corner of a screen here that would show you the mobile app, but it kind of fluked out on me here when I rebooted, so I'll set that up for next time. So any of you Zwift novice folks learning about the game, I can kind of show you what the mobile app looks like. That's a companion to me running on the PC. Roger says I am also doing a 24-hour in December. I would say that's not a confirmed task yet, but I'm not denying it either. I will definitely not be trying to do 24 hours at the pace that I did 5 or 6 hours yesterday. Evasive Snake. This is Zwift. It is a massive multiplayer online cycling game that has also incorporated running, which is what I'm doing, obviously. So I'm on a treadmill in my basement. Every bicycle that passes me is a person riding their bike indoors, putting out real power into real pedals, moving their in-game avatar forward. So, no game controllers, just making your legs do the work. Yeah, Marty, I'm sorry. Marty over at Facebook says he loves seeing runners in this space now too. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more runners as I'm riding around the course as well. So, Swedish House Cycling is commenting on my heart rate with my 120-ish heart rates. So for those that don't know me, some of you regulars know me pretty well. I'm a pretty high-end cyclist at this point. I don't have a lot of run fitness in me right now. So my cardio very greatly exceeds my running ability. So part of the self-control here is my legs can't take what my cardio system can pump out from the trauma. So I'm purposely keeping my pace down, especially knowing it's a long run, to just start building up distance. So you'll actually notice that my heart rate box up there is blue most of the time right now. And there's a little rainbow band across there with a number 24 inside the blue rainbow band. That means that I've done 24 minutes in what Zwift is considering my zone 1 heart rate, which I'm right at the upper edge of, because I've got 1 minute in the green, so that whole blue box will turn green if I get to, I think, 128 beats per minute. So the box is color-coded off of my heart rate zone. As I run harder, get a higher heart rate zone, that'll change colors. So this run, I'll never be out of the green, and I may do a lot of it in the blue. Tom comments over at Facebook, great run. Don't make fun of Casey when you run past him on the bike, because he will make fun of you when he's on the bike. Yeah, that's the classic don't poke the bear, right, Tom? Me and a buddy, a local triathlon group, we call the bike leg going fishing, right? Everybody that humiliates us on the swim, we're going fishing on the bike. We're gonna catch those fish and blow them away on the ride. Chris asks, can you group runners nearby the way you can group riders? The nearby grouping, like the rider list you see on the right and what you see in the mobile app, is going to list runners and riders. So because there's so many more riders than runners, you don't really see just the runners in that list. And there's not enough runners to really pick them out. Now, I would expect very soon you will see things like actual group rides, events that are catered to running. So if you've ever done a Zwift cycling event, you start in a starting pin and you all take off at one time. I would expect to see something similar for runners soon. And when that comes around, I think you'll get that experience, Chris, that you're asking about, running with other runners and really getting a group. Then Tom asks, do I feel the gradient? Zwift has not done any sort of what I would call smart treadmill, automatic gradient adjustment. The pace that my footpod broadcasts is the pace that my avatar moves in the game. It does not compensate for gradient. It doesn't move my treadmill for gradient. So there's some concern, I believe, with allowing that to happen when the game takes over your machine and something happens and you get injured, that sort of thing. I think there's some legal basis they want to cover there before that happens. And then there's some technology that needs to sync up a little bit to allow control treadmills and things like that. So I think that's probably to come at some point in the future, but I wouldn't expect that real quickly. Okay, I've got to catch up over here at got to catch up over at Mixer. So Dagger asks what happens if I get to red. That's on the heart rate. If I get to red running, I will quit. My legs cannot take the kind of abuse it would take to get my heart rate to red right now. That's hard running. Yeah, running races, Swedish House is saying imagine running races. It would be tough. They have a park run, I believe, on Sunday mornings, but it's a UK time park run, so I've never experienced it or seen it. And then, yeah, all those races, running events that they're doing currently on Zwift are not being done in the event module. Those two things haven't been completely connected yet. Kieran asked on Facebook, that's an excellent question. Is there a certain treadmill you have to use for this to work? Absolutely not. Any treadmill will work. The reason being is the treadmill is not what's telling the game my pace. What's telling the game my pace is a foot pod on my shoe. So I can run on anything like a treadmill and broadcast it to the game. Technically, I could take my phone in my hand and run outdoors, and the foot pod would still work and tell the game how fast I'm running. So there are some treadmills that will tell the game a pace, but that's not what I use. And I would say that's not what a majority of Zwift runners are using. A majority of them are using some sort of foot pod. Popular ones would be Garmin, Milestone, Polar. Top of the line is Stride, which is actually a running power meter. The Stride will probably be my next big running investment. All good questions, guys. Keep it up. It's taking me away from my pain a little bit. Starting to do math in my head. I'm a third of the way to my committed goal. So, that's good. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you coming in and chatting with me. I'm glad I could help. Swedish is pushing me to do a marathon right now. Unfortunately, there is no way I could do a marathon right now. There is some thoughts of a long run in my future, maybe early October. I haven't completely ruled them out, which is why I'm getting a few of the long runs in here. The Zwift Community Live, folks. We have a mutual assist going on here. I'm committing to them to do some of these runs, which is forcing me to do them, to not chicken out, and it's helping them really show off the Zwift running, which is an awesome addition to the platform. Swedish House Cycling says, any help for a cyclist who gets knee pain after every single run? The last run was 2 years ago. I want to do a fast 3K time because I want to show my mates I'm fast. Well, as somebody who started cycling before running, when I started running, I ran straight into injury because I started too hard. Like I was talking about a few minutes ago, it's recognizing that you may have better cardio fitness than you do the ability to sustain the running trauma. The amount of trauma that your body goes through running is so significantly different and greater than cycling. Even the best cyclists out there, when they convert to running, you have to respect the trauma that your body goes through. You have to start easy. You have to build a base. Go slow. Do a run like I'm doing here. Not the distance, but go out and do 2 miles or 3 kilometers at a zone 2 heart rate. Slow down. Don't try to go out there and kill it. Start building a base. And then work into the hard, fast running as you build that base up. You've got to get the bones, the skeletal system, the ligaments. You got to get everything adjusted to the beating that you're going to put your body through. And then, one of the things I found is a lot of the things about running and the different muscles and the movements that you go through, I actually use running to make me a better cyclist. If I just cycle for too much, and I don't stretch in that, I start getting really tight through my hip flexors and on my hips, and starts giving me back trouble. So I actually use running to help balance some of that core out. I have to do some stretching to get over those back pain issues, but also running really helps loosen up some of the things, basically from my belly button to my knees, and get a little more balance in that area. I should put on The Bomb by Pigeon John. We stick with the approved music for the ZCL runs. Which actually, it's a pretty good choice of music with a beat to run to. Elaine, let me look here. See how good Facebook. Oh yeah, you didn't know. I don't, he's typing in French. Didn't know you could use a treadmill. Yeah. Fairly new, but Zwift does an excellent job with the treadmill integration that is done. So what's some of the running related stuff we haven't talked about, guys? Or any other Zwift info you want to talk about? Yeah, Swedish. Might go out for short runs this fall. Can I use my cycling computer to log my rides? Like a Garmin 510. Swedish, you can. I've done it. What Garmin doesn't allow you to do directly on the device, like my running watch actually has a run mode. So the fit file is directly a run type file. It records a little bit of different data. If you're using a cycling computer like an Edge, you have to record it as a bike ride. But once you upload it to Strava or to Garmin, something like that, all you have to do is go in there and change the workout or activity type to a run, and you'll get those metrics. Now, the Edge won't read like a foot pod to give you cadence or to allow you to do indoor running and record it on an Edge. But if you're going outdoors and relying on the GPS to track a map and to give you a pace and to record heart rate, you can do that basically as a cycling workout. You might need to change your auto pause to be off because you're not going very fast. But then once you upload it, you just flip it over to a run, and it should look just like it was recorded on a running watch. Thanks, Decade. I appreciate the encouragement. No giving up. Robert asks, how do you get Zwift working on a running machine? So, in order for Zwift to know how fast I'm running, I have a foot pod attached to my shoelaces. The particular one I use is made by Garmin, and it broadcasts my running pace based on my stride and my rhythm, and it tells the game a speed. So, if you're at all familiar with Zwift as a cycling app where it's reading a power meter, here it's just reading a different kind of device that's directly attached to my shoe. It's very small, maybe the size of a, well, it has like a typical, what would you call a watch or a coin cell battery in it, and the entire device is only slightly bigger than the battery. So it's a pretty small device attached to my shoe that you run a little calibration in the game with, and that's what does the communication with the game. So you don't have to have a special treadmill or any high-end type treadmill to do the running. You just have to have a foot pod of some sort to broadcast the pace. Like right now, give you guys an idea on how the calibration works. I'm calibrated really well right now with my foot pod at this pace into the game. My treadmill tells me I've gone 4.12 miles, and Zwift says I've gone 4.10. So I'm 0.02 of a mile off after 4 miles. So that's about 0.5%. And honestly, it's probably perfect. You know, like when I start, I let the treadmill belt get going before I actually start moving. And little things like that, where it's very likely that the treadmill being 2 or 300ths of a mile higher is really probably right on. For those of you that aren't super familiar with Zwift as well right now, I am running on the London map. So the map that we're running on now is a simulation of the London downtown streets. So you will see landmarks like Trafalgar Square and things like that along the route here. Zwift has 3 maps. We have the London map. There is a Richmond map that follows, I believe, the 2015 UCI World Nationals course. And then we have Watopia. There's just a completely fictitious map created for Zwift to get creative, basically, and have some different fun things to do. That is not at all a direct correlation to an in real life map. Justin, thanks for the hello there. How you doing? War 2 Master wants to know how he gets ones. How much is one? Can it work on Xbox One? Lots of ones. It does not have an Xbox application right now. So your current options are iOS devices, Mac or PC, Android to be released very soon. And that's the platform that you can run the game on. You have two basic connectivity options, which is A&T Plus, which works on the PC or the Mac, or you have Bluetooth, which with the companion app, you can use Bluetooth on any option. And then it's a matter of getting the proper communication devices to get data into the game. So for running, you can use a heart rate strap. You use a foot pod to communicate the pace. Some treadmills will communicate a pace. If you're cycling, you can use a power meter, which is your best option. There's also some smart trainers. There's also speed sensors that will calculate a power. So let's keep it family friendly over there. Yeah, halfway there. Does it pair with VR? I think that's a virtual reality question, like talking about VR glasses. Give me more info there. I'm not real techie on some of the gaming stuff. Ivy, thanks for the encouragement. Do I have a mind? Basically, sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking there. Yeah, so virtual reality like glasses. There has been some of that at some of the trade shows that Zwift has shown off. Nothing open to the public yet. I don't have any idea what the time frame would be to that or what the holdup would be. Me personally, where I would struggle with virtual reality, I wouldn't do it on the treadmill. Just for the disorienting qualities, I would end up plowed into the wall behind me here. But on the bike, I could definitely see it being really cool. But I sweat so bad that anything that is near me when I work out is going to get chewed up by my sweat. So I would struggle with the virtual reality stuff. But I do think it's something that we will see as time goes on. So headed Pegasus, what is physics? Elaborate on that a little bit. There's a lot of physics that go on in this game between cycling and running, so I could talk the physics of the game for an hour and probably not talk about what your specific question is about, so share more there. We definitely can talk physics, though, if you want to. The basic run physics are simple right now. You simply run in the game at the pace that the foot pod tells the game you're running on the treadmill. No hill compensation, no draft compensation, like you would see in the cycling portion. The big peloton going by. So, no major physics going on from a running perspective. Cycling, there's a ton. Drafting, CDA, hills. It's amazing the amount of physics that would go into the cycling side of it right now. What games do I have? Base, I don't really play any games. Zwift is pretty much it for me. I used to play some games a few years ago. Got a lot of kids and family stuff going on, so not much time for gaming anymore. Yeah, the bad thing about running is you can't play games like Nathan always does. That's very true, Swedish. It was actually one of my comments. Hey B-Ray, how's it going over there, Facebook? It was one of my comments on the running when I was on Zwiftcast a few weeks ago. One of the struggles with running, for me, when I'm cycling, I've got a board in front of me that has a keyboard on it. And even at very high intensity levels, I'm able to not do a lot, but I can navigate a little bit on the computer. I can type messages. I can multitask. Running, those options aren't there. You know, you'll see me every once in a while, I'm reaching down and grabbing the mouse. I do have a keyboard in front of me. I've got a lot more in front of me than most people would running, but I can't really use them effectively. So, to type messages in the game, to actually have an interaction, and to click on other players, things like that, it's really hard to do while you run. So, you know, some of that experience that's easier cycling, it's not as easy when you're running. So, I think concepts like voice chat in the game directly and some things like that could add some of those elements and still allow you to do them while running. So, I think you have to get a little more creative on how you can provide that interaction with other people while running. As a friend, Base Oyster on what platform? Hey Ben, how you doing? Alright, we're over halfway there. We're enduring alright, but running is not fun. You guys see the little thumbs up coming? This one's Adrian Timmis, A-Timmis. Actually former Tour de France cyclist. So, thanks for the ride on, Adrian. When you see that thumbs up come down on top of my head, that big blue thing, you can look right above my distance at the top, and it'll tell you who gave you that ride on, that thumbs up. Thanks, Almat. How's it going? Appreciate everybody chatting with me here. Like I said, we are on Mixer, Twitch, Facebook. I believe we'll be live on YouTube as well. I don't have YouTube chat up though, so I apologize for that. if you're interested in the game, and you're not familiar with it, this channel has a lot of Zwift content. Most of it is cycling. Everything from racing, group rides, some chats and information, some running like I'm doing here. If you're interested in any of that, follow the channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitch, Mixer. You've got options at all those places to get notified when we go live, so you can watch the content when it happens. Of course, there's video on demand available in all those locations, so you can go back and see what we're all about. Watch some of the old races, some of the past runs. We're going to try to make this running feature more often on Sundays. I won't promise to make it every Sunday, but that's the hope, with my personal calendar allowing to get on here and give you guys some sort of run, hopefully every Sunday or once a week at some point. But my goal is Sundays. It's interesting, if you guys aren't aware of the Zwift Academy, which is a academy of Zwifters that are competing to get a shot to join a pro team, cycling teams. If you look on the right hand side of the screen, all of those names, that little emblem right above the time, the little triangle, those are all people that have entered that cycling challenge. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on with that. Actually, I think tomorrow night, I think it's at 6 and 9 p.m. Central Time, I'm going to be live here on this same channel leading a group ride for the Zwift Academy. So keep an eye on that. Nathan, the main administrator here at Zwift Community Live, did the kickoff one, I believe Friday night, for the Zwift Academy rides too. So expect to see a lot of Zwift Academy stuff coming up on this channel as well. No problem, Base Oyster. Thanks for hanging out. Lots of cool stuff going on out in the community right now. So it's fun to watch it. My team, over my shoulder here, Team Experimental guys, got a lot of exciting things going. We're really involved with the CVR stuff. We do a lot of racing. So it's always fun to be a part of an awesome group like that. Keeps you motivated. Keeps a good positive influence out in the community. Encouraging racing and some fun new things coming that integrate into Zwift really well. So it's pretty awesome to see all of that. Don't want to push it too much, but I'm thinking maybe we'll pick up the pace here for about 3 miles and then do a nice cool down. So pick it up here a little bit, get up around, see how a 9-minute mile feels. Probably gonna hurt. Keep that heart rate green for a while. No full gas. You'll definitely see my heart rate react to this bump in pace though. You guys are gonna kill me. Maybe we'll do a hard push before the cool down. How's that sound? We'll get to 875. I'll bump the pace up. Push it. We'll get to orange. Once I hit orange, we'll hit the cool down. No red. I'm not sure I can do red, honestly, on the treadmill right now. I think my legs would fail before my heart would. Almont, I did see something very briefly about a fire on a team bus. Pretty disappointing. People would do something like that. Just kind of sad. Got a little belt adjustment to do on my treadmill. Belt's a little bit over to one side. You'll notice, so I've got the treadmill set at about 6.7 now. Zwift is reading a little high now. Interesting little tidbit about how some of the cheaper, I wouldn't say cheaper, some of the more basic foot pods work. So as I fatigue, my run form changes a little bit. So when I start my run, the foot pod keeps me a little slow. When I was starting, I was always like a tenth of a mile an hour slow in game. Once my form starts kind of, evolving through my run, I start drifting the other direction. I really don't know why, other than I know that it's my form that changes a little bit over the distance of a run. Causes the foot pod to read a little differently. Rogers wants to know, how quick can you go on the treadmill? This treadmill goes to 10 mile an hour, and I can run 10 mile an hour. Not for long, but I can run that pace. My fastest 5K would have been 6:05 minute miles, which is 6-minute mile, so just 5 seconds faster than that pace is 10 mile an hour. So this treadmill full bore is just slightly faster than my 10K or my 5K pace. I will not go that fast today. Sorry, mountain man. I'll run into the wall behind me if I do 10 miles per hour. Alt prints, this is Zwift. a massive multiplayer cycling online game that has added some running features, which we're kind of showing you here at Zwift.com, where you can check it out. But every avatar that is running or cycling in this game is someone physically doing exercise with some sort of device that transfers that pace or energy into the game. So we do everything from running, cycling group rides, races, all kinds of things within the application. Global connectivity. No problem, Rogers. Go Packers, right? Yep, Jonathan. Thanks, Matt. Jonathan, you do share with runners now. Be polite. Give me a little shout on your right as you come by. Big group ride coming by again. Swedish, you have a good evening. Oh, no. Matt, I knew what you were talking about. I was just actually kind of pointing that out. That one thing interesting about the foot pods is the calibration on them. Some people will see a little drift as the run form changes. I knew your comment wasn't related. Do the hard effort soon. I'm scared to do the hard effort because then I won't have anything left. So you're going to have to wait about 2 more miles for the hard effort. So 18 minutes. When I'm behind the boards, you don't see anything. You can see now my heart rate's staying a little more green. Didn't increase a lot with my increase in pace, but definitely had a reaction. Going from the 125 area, 133. And now you can see my number in the green portion of the rainbow is going up. So I did 56 minutes in that blue heart rate zone, and now I've done 10 minutes in the green heart rate zone. Yeah, Houston Strong Mountain Man, good call out. Definitely well wishes to all our friends down in Houston, Texas area. Pretty crazy Mother Nature down there right now. You notice we got the cool weather haircut going now. Got the hair all gone. We had to take the hair off of the avatar as well. Still sporting the orange headband. Stay safe, mountain man. Yeah, thanks. I got my water bottle here and I haven't been drinking as well as I should. That's good for you, mountain man. Help those people out. good to see communities pull together in a time of crisis like that. Got another little over, or a little under 2 miles to answer any Zwift running questions before we shoot for an orange number. So, shoot me any questions you got. Do I have the bike, Mountain Man? Yeah, actually, I'm primarily a cyclist. I've done probably 90% of my cycling indoors this year, and I think I have somewhere around 8,500 miles in this year. So I average about 12, 13 hours a week on the bike. Ace ran 700 miles today. Wow. I hope you were like running on a treadmill in an airplane or something. Swedish for the pacing. He's asking, is it good advice to pace by heart rate versus feel on the run? Honestly, I really don't know. I can't pace by heart rate because my cardio versus my running fitness are so far out of whack. But in general, like run training, having pace zones has always been thought to be very similar to like power zones in running, or in riding, where heart rate drifts, and heart rate response lags, where pace is immediate. So I think it's a very similar concept. Pace is probably a little more precise if you have good pacing zones set up, but heart rate will work. You just have to understand what you're looking at and things like heart rate drift and things like that. Now, if you really want to get serious with pacing on the run, the Stride Power Meter is a high-end foot pod, if you will, but it actually reads running power. So it will recognize, going up and down hills and things like that to be able to truly pace via power and not just a speed. So that would be the best, I think, for really setting up zones. And they're very similar power numbers to what you would have on the bike. So completely guessing, but maybe I'm running at 200 watts right now, something like that. Why am I the only runner? The running just hasn't taken off as much as the cycling. So almost every time I ride out here, I'll pass 1 or 2 runners, but I would say there's probably only 1 runner for every maybe 50 or so cyclists online at a time, I would say. And then obviously, running, we're not going at a strong pace. So I'm not going to catch and pass a lot of runners. Someone running a lot faster than me that started a half mile behind me, it's going to take them a long time to catch me. So, the cyclists are doing this loop that I'm on in like 10 minutes. And I'm doing the loop in an hour or, 40 minutes. So these guys are just passing me and passing me and passing me. So I think some of it is just the difference in pace. You see a lot more cycling activity. And then there definitely is a lot less running than riding. I'm guessing 1 to 50 right now. That's strictly me guessing. I have no real evidence of that. So Jophis says, the Stride is good.
your power numbers with stride would likely be higher since it's a weight-bearing activity. Me being out of run fitness, I probably can't run with the stride at my cycling power numbers, but I might. I really don't know. I've never run with one. But I know it's a similar concept. I just don't know how closely the two correlate in like a ability-wise. Like if you have a 300 FTP, does it carry over? I don't know. Hey, Plum Pumpkin, how's it going? So Plum Pumpkin, I like your name. I believe I live in the pumpkin capital of the world, or at least the pumpkin capital of the Midwest. So it is pumpkin season here. Fire Dragon, yeah, I have 3 bikes. I got a kicker trainer set up just to my right side, and that's where I do most of my working out. It is actually on my bike, on my kicker. The cycling is definitely my A sport, my primary fitness activity. I'm doing good. Yeah. Starting to get a little fatigued. Almost 7 3/4 miles. Not having a huge amount of run fitness. Starting to suffer a little bit. Do I like turtles? I feel like a turtle right now. Weston Jagner. Oh, we're getting the ODZ raining right-ons. Thanks, guys. So, guys, the ODZ team has built some sort of function that rains right on. So you see here, guys, I'm going to get this stream to like 100 thumbs up from the ODZ crew. So, thanks for the rain down, guys. Fun group of guys. Primarily, I'd say, focus more on Pacific US time zone based stuff is their main stuff, but they're global and do a lot for the community, so appreciate them giving me a nice little rain down here. Good bunch of guys. If you're interested in some good rides, check them out. They have a lot of fun on Discord. So now you can really see the ride-ons coming in. Keep dropping the thumbs. Different names coming across. My favorite sport by a mile, Fire Dragon, is cycling. As far as what I do. And then anything my children are participating in would be right there with it. I'm learning to appreciate my run and what it offers me. I do triathlon, but I am not a swimming fan at all. I'm not a good swimmer, so I swim enough to be able to compete. Fairly reasonable in a triathlon. Oop, gotta be careful. Run off the side of the treadmill. War wants to know if I've done weighted vests. No, running's hard enough without adding weight. Plum Pumpkin, how am I doing? What specifically? I'm falling off the side of the treadmill because I'm just not paying attention. If that was the question. Things are going to get serious here in a minute. Yeah, 875. We're going to bump it. Let's say 9 miles an hour. We'll settle in there. See what we can get the heart rate to climb to in a quarter mile. No promises on how hard I can push it, but we'll give her a whirl. I'll do that, Fire Dragon, thanks. We'll check it out. You guys are all just hanging out to see me in pain, aren't you? There goes a big pack. Look at that. Big ride. This is like an ominous music leading into some pain. We're building the suspense. Can his legs get him to an orange number? Yeah, there's quite a few live streamers that have Zwift, if that's what you're asking about. We're getting to be a pretty decent group on Mixer that broadcast it. We're getting close to graduating to a new level, guys. I'm almost all the way through level 5. It was just last Sunday here on Zwift Community Live. I got to level 5. I'm getting close to 6. Oh, I'm gonna feel it, Whiskey. There's no doubt about that. It will be painful. It already is. 2 times my step goal for the day. Yeah, Rogers is a Zwift streamer for sure. Eight minutes at a time, right, Zach? Love you, buddy. We'll kick it a little early for the uphill here. Maybe we can actually pace with some cyclists. All right, here we go. 9 mile an hour. We'll talk in a minute, guys. Alright, we're gonna have to kick it 9.5. Crap, go more. That's it. All she got, boys. Oh. We got it. Gave her all she got, Scotty. Oh, that hurt. Yeah, that's it, guys. She flashed orange a few times. Whew. So somebody asked a minute ago, what's my longest run? My longest ever run outdoors is 40 miles. And I've done 2 30-milers. On a treadmill, I've done 18. And I believe this might be my longest Zwift run. I'm not sure I've done more than 10 on Zwift. Swedish, thanks for hanging out with me, buddy. I appreciate the encouragement. And I'm glad you hung out to see me suffer. It actually felt good to do that. It hurt. But I was actually surprised I was able to push it to 10. So, I pushed it to 10 miles an hour for a brief second. Yeah, Fire Dragon, you guys were all pushing me. I appreciate that. If you guys can tell on the camera, if you've been watching me this whole time, my shirt is a much darker orange than it was when we started because it's holding about a pound of fluid right now because I sweat profusely. This is a good solid solid run for me. As you can see, my heart rate recovers really well, which is a sign of my cardio fitness. My legs are absolutely shot, but yet, drop into a 10-minute mile, my heart rate immediately comes back down into the blue zone. Yeah, whiskey, I would put my fluid loss rate up there with some of the highest ones out there. I'm actually starting to get a little squishy shoes right now. Fire Dragon, yeah, doing this in pads. I've seen those JFL boys run in their pads. It'd definitely be hard work. I can tell you, I do this out on the trails, doing like the 30-mile ultra run, the 40-mile ultra run I did. You know, we've got full camelback backpacks on and that. It's a way different experience than this. Heart rate's very similar, but the mixed terrain, you know, and watching for roots and all that kind of stuff, it's a way different experience. Thanks, Watermaster, I appreciate that. Yeah, you always know when you're suffering when the shoes start squishing and the feet are all wrinkly wet when you take the socks off. Signs of a good run. So guys, we got just over a half mile to go here. I appreciate everybody for getting on and watching, encouraging me. The run went better than I expected based on my current level of fatigue. I believe I'll be back here tomorrow night maybe with some Swift Academy rides. Maybe back next Sunday with another run. It'd be great to get some people to join me on a run sometime. Actually get on here and have a few guys running. We had a tag along last week. It was pretty awesome. Thanks, Johan. Appreciate it. So yeah, we got about 5 minutes left. We're gonna go straight up 10 miles and call it good. Yeah, endurance running is tough. The muscle soreness and that really starts working on you after a while. So guys, remember to like and follow the pages at Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Swift Community Live is the channel at all those locations. We cover all things Swift, running, racing, riding. A lot of talented individuals. You can see professional cyclists on this channel, mountain bike and road cyclists. We got a special that ran the past few weeks. It's a pro cyclist turned cycle trainer doing some workouts. So all kinds of things here. All awesome content to learn more about cycling, learn more about Swift, start to learn more about Swift running, just getting started. So tomorrow, if I'm broadcasting tomorrow, it'll be 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. Central Time, or possibly both. Those are the two rides I'm leading tomorrow. So that would be, it's 3:40 p.m. local time right now. So it would be 2 hours and 20 minutes from now, or doing math in my head, 2 hours and 20 minutes from now, or 5 hours and 20 minutes after now, tomorrow. War to Master, I wouldn't call them classes. Now, there is a workout function within the game. So, like, once you estimate your ability, it will give you like a workout to do based on your ability. So, they may have you do like 20-minute efforts or 5-minute efforts and to hit target numbers and things. So, there's workouts there, but not really a class, so to speak, directly. I think that's something you could see in the future, but more just specific workouts. A lot of cycling workouts and the ability to build custom cycling workouts. And then running, there's 4 or 5 base running workouts available right now, but I have it on direct knowledge from a post on Facebook from a Zwift executive that they are looking at adding Zwift more running workouts in one of the upcoming releases. So no doubt the running workouts are going to pick up very, very soon. So there's definitely those things. Now, what I would call the group rides may be interpreted as classes. So the ride that I lead tomorrow will be, I believe, on the same course I'm running on right now. And we'll do sprints. So the overall ride pace will be 2 watts per kilogram, which for a lot of people is a fairly reasonable, relaxed pace. And then we'll do like 1 or 2 sprints a lap and then regroup. So you could call that a class kind of concept. We will all ride together, and you can choose to do the sprints, or you can choose to just hold the pace. As a ride leader, I will have a designation in the game that makes me really easy to see, and I'll be communicating with the people through text to tell them what to do, when to sprint, when to rest, when to form up around me to regroup. So you could call that the cycling class of Zwift. We don't refer to them as classes, but I think a lot of those group rides that incorporate a sprint, or there's sprint ones. There's another one with the Academy that I think they're calling endurance rides, where I think we're doing longer segments. We're doing 5 or 10 minute hard pace efforts, and then we'll back off and rest. So those are what I would consider the cycling classes of Zwift as we know them today. Mike Stevens is asking if I know of any issues broadcasting to Facebook Live with OBS. I don't, Mike, but I directly don't broadcast to Facebook myself. I'm broadcasting through Zwift Community Live, which the administrators of Zwift Community Live take my stream and split it with their own software. So I'm not connecting directly to Facebook. I'm connecting to them, and then they're splitting it to multiple locations. I do use OBS, which is what I'm using now, and I use it for my own streaming as well. If you guys are interested in my streams, my channel is CS Tricks, and for you guys over at Mixer, I'm typing in a message right now with my user ID. Feel free to follow me as well. I broadcast on my own channel as well, so I just typed in a message over at Mixer that I'm your host today. So if you want to follow my channel too, feel free. I'd appreciate having anybody come over there as well. But you can find me here quite a bit too. But yes, sorry Mike, I don't have a lot of background in Facebook streaming directly, so I can't really comment on that. But I know there's a lot of knowledgeable people on this channel that you might be able to get some help with that. If you do a lot of Zwifting, Mike, and you're familiar with the other Zwift Facebook pages, I know there are a lot of streamers out there, so good resources out there in the community, guys. The Zwift Riders Facebook page. If you race, Zwift Racers. If you run, obviously, Zwift Runners. There's a Zwift Fitness. All kinds of different Zwift Facebook pages, and you can always check out Zwift themselves. You got to check out Zwift Community Live. But all of those community-driven pages can help with things. So, hey, Cool Gun Man, how's it going? Thanks for joining me, guys. Just doing a little cool down here. If you guys were here when I started, I had commented that I actually get on here and walk some too. Here I'm just cooling down. You can see my avatar. He walks just the same way as he runs. You can see that the animation changes appropriately for the walk. My pace is really good. I have the treadmill set at a 3-mile-an-hour pace, and it's reading 2.8. So, based on calibration, that's not too bad. So, all those things work really well. I thought I lost my mic there for a minute. So guys, I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. Again, like and follow our pages, Zwift Community Live, at all the streaming platforms, Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Check out me personally, CS Tricks. I'm on Mixer primarily now, so I stream a little bit there. Follow the channel, get notifications when we go live. And Cluster Milk, we are just finishing up a run. Sorry. We've been going for an hour and 40 minutes, and we ran over 10 miles, so we're going to call that good for the day. So just taking a little cool down walk here and thanking everybody for coming and joining the stream. So we're going to sign off for the day, and we will see you guys all next time. Hopefully we're going to make this an every Sunday thing, or at least fairly often on Sundays, we'll say, as much as possible. So we'll see you guys next time.